And here we go. This is Praise Church. What happened? Okay, here we go. This is Praise Church. Hello. Say hello, guys. Okay, it's a pleasure for us to be with you today. We are on Facebook. We are also on YouTube. And this is Praise Church. We are so happy and glad to be here. And I'm so happy to have my people here. So, who's here today?
Hi, I'm Felix, or Jamil.
I'm Isabel. And I'm Angie.
Okay, Angie, why not you lead us in a word of prayer so we can start our service today?
Father God, we thank you for this opportunity tonight. We thank you for each and every person that may be watching tonight, and for those who are still, taking their time to watch this video tonight. Father God, I ask that you speak to us and speak to our pastors so that we are able to share our thoughts and we are able to share what we feel, Father God, in our situation, Father God, in the situations that we're living now, Father. We pray that you continue blessing us, Father, blessing our church and every member of our church, Father God, that you continue helping us and teaching us new things, Father, with each and every lesson that our pastor brings to us, Father God. I pray for each and every person that's here. I pray for you allow us to learn something tonight, to really comprehend what it is or what it means to have an identity in you. We thank you in the name of Jesus.
Oh, yes. In the name of Jesus. Okay, Isabel, tell us a little bit about what we were talking last Friday when we heard Nick sharing his testimony.
We were talking about like who we are, like our identities. He spoke a lot about like being being a better person, being being more mature, and not being a follower, but being a leader, being someone that I would explain it. Like I like the way he used when he was on the table and he said if there was one more person who said a mean comment to me, I could have fallen, but there was a person that said, "You look nice today," and that just one hope,
Wow.
it could change his life.
Yeah. And also he said probably that's your purpose in life. Just to save the life of somebody. But maybe you can live 70, 80 years, but just with one purpose. Save the life of somebody. How was it?
I liked it a lot. It made me think of things differently and like choose more wisely the words I say when I talk to other people.
Yeah, which one was your favorite part?
My favorite part was as well said when he was about to fall, and how the littlest thing, slightest thing that you could say to somebody could cause somebody to react very falsely.
Yeah, it was great. So Angie was with me today, and we were taking Daniel chapter 1, and I would like to take it again. Chapter 1 has a really deep explanation about what happened to Daniel. And one of my goals here is that we can see how we look like Daniel. We look like the same way that Daniel was. And if you have Daniel chapter 1, I would like you can read us, please, Angie, verses 1 to verses 8. Okay. Actually, verse 9. Daniel 1 to 9.
All right, so it starts. In the third year of the reign of King Joachim of Judah, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon advanced against Jerusalem and laid it under siege. Now the Lord delivered the king of Judah into his power, along with some of the vessels of the temple of God. He brought them to the land of Babylonia and to the temple of his God, and put the vessels in treasury of his God. The king commanded Ashpenaz, who was in charge of the court officials, to choose some of the Israelites who were of royal and noble descent, young men in whom there was no physical defect and who were handsome, well versed in all kinds of wisdom, well educated, and having
keen insight and who are capable of entering the king's royal service, and to teach them the literature and language of the Babylonians. So the king assigned them a daily ration from his royal delicacies and from the wine he himself drank. They were to be trained for the next 3 years. At the end of the time, they were to enter the king's service. As it turned out, among these young men were some from Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. But the overseer of court officials renamed them. He gave Daniel the name of Belteshazzar. Hananiah he named Shadrach. Mishael he named Meshach. And Azariah he named Abednego. But Daniel made up his mind, and he would not defile himself with the royal delicacies or the royal wine. He therefore asked the overseer of the court officials for permission not to defile himself. Then God made the overseer of the court officials sympathetic to Daniel.
Amen. That was great. So there are a couple of things that I want so we can discuss tonight. So the first thing is verse 8 says that Daniel made a decision. He was not alone, actually. He had 3 more friends. But also, he was in the middle of more people, but only 4 of them made a decision. And the decision was, I think, dangerous, was a challenge. And also, he was in the court of a different king. He could be killed because of this decision. What he decided was, I won't take food from the table of the king. And if you want to know why, it's because that food was dedicated to different gods, idols, right? So Daniel said, I won't eat impure stuff like pork. Pork was one of those examples because, Jewish people, they don't eat pork. Just as one example. And Daniel made this decision to be different. I think identity makes us make right or wrong choices. If you know who you are, or depending on what you know who you are, what you think you are, you make choices, right? So Daniel said, I'm not from this Babylon. I'm not from here. I won't eat that meat. So he asked, please, to us, my friends and me, just give us vegetables and fruits. That's it. Actually, there is a fasting called Daniel fasting. It's only vegetables and fruits. But before we talk about making choices, I want you to realize a couple of things. First, where are we from? That's a good question. Where are you from? From the United States. Where are you from? United States. Where are you from?
White Plains.
Or White Plains, Westchester, New York State. But this is the thing. Even when I was born in Colombia, I'm not from Colombia. You were born in the United States, but you're not from the United States. Check this out. In Genesis chapter 1, when God created everything, actually the only thing he created, like creation as it is, was water and the earth. Yes, like the soil and water. Then he spoke, if we can see Genesis 1, he spoke to the water. And tell you what God said, chapter 1, verse 20. See what he said. Let the waters bring, right? Or produce. Check verse 24. What do you have in verse 24?
Let the land produce living.
Produce. Who? The earth, the soil, the water, Where the doggies are coming from? From the earth. Where the fish coming from? From the water, right? Where are you coming from? Check verse 26. Verse 26 says, God spoke to his son, right? Let's do. Let us. I love that part. It's very important to read. Let us. God is alone, but he said, let us. God, Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. Let us make a man. So where are you coming from?
God.
You come from God. So that's one of the things we're confused. So when I understood this about who's my father, even when I love my dad, I love him. I understood that my real father is God. You know? So it can fix the problem when some people had a good father or a not good father, right? It's the same thing when we think where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from a monkey. I'm coming from God. Who's coming from the earth? The animals are coming from the earth. The fish are coming from the water. We, the humans, we're created with the hands of God. So, how do you think it makes a huge difference, Angie, when you understand, oh, now I know where I'm coming from?
It allows you to identify yourself.
First, it allows you to identify yourself. I like that part because we'll be talking about Daniel and where he was coming from. What else? What's another need?
It allows you to like have a better understanding of where you came from.
Yes, now you know, and then who you are. Oh, I come from God. Now I know who I am. What else?
I think it makes you feel like special because you know that God made you. You
Yeah.
didn't come from neither the water, neither the dirt or anything.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love when we say we're special. Because I think one of the things that Daniel was, he thought we are special. We don't eat that food because we are not like these guys. And I think when we're talking about holiness, we understand holiness like a religious thing. Oh, you look like an angel. You dress with long dresses because you are holy. And you shave your beard and you cut your hair and you need to let your hair grow because you are a holy woman. But it's not about it. It's about choices. And choices are about when you know where you're coming from. Now, if I'm coming from God, do I have the same habits as the world has? And when we say world, we're talking about the people that doesn't know they are from God. I love when Jesus says, you are from the devil. You are from your father, the devil. Because you're lying. You love lying. But we are not from the devil. We are from God. And one of the things that I'm thinking is that we are strange in this world. Actually, the Bible calls us that we are kind of tourists. We pass for this world, and Jesus in John chapter 17 says, "Oh Father, they are not from this world, but they are living in this world." And it makes a huge difference because it makes you special. It makes you know who you are. And what do you say?
It allows you.
It allows you, yes, to recognize your identity. So let's talk about one thing. When Daniel got Babylon, he needed, the Bible says, he needed to learn a different language because the Chaldeans language was not his language. Now, I moved here 4 years ago. I'm still learning to speak this language. But there is one thing that when we were born in this world, we forgot. With the time, we forgot. Let me show you how. God gave us the language of the faith. It was natural for us. You don't remember, but I remember. I have 2 kids. Joel, for example. He thinks he can be a pilot. He can be a cop. He can be a superhero. If you remember, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say? You remember?
Like a firefighter.
You want to be a firefighter. Do you remember?
I think like a doctor.
You said, I want to be a doctor.
I know.
You don't remember. Check this out. Then you grow up, and when you see how much it costs to go to the college at the university and be a doctor, you change your mind. Because you forgot to speak the language of the heaven. God spoke to the nothing, and everything came true. But there was nothing at the beginning. Let me tell you, the science says that probably there was a little thing that was just, expanded. It was moving really fast and it was expanded, but they don't know what was outside. Where is it expanded to? Where? If there is not outside, if the universe is everything, what is the outside of the universe? This has only one answer, is God. He spoke to nothing. And when we were kids, we had no difference between rich and poor. We had no difference between expensive and cheap. Right? You went to the mall and you said, I want that one. And then you forgot to speak the faith language. And you learned a different language, the world language. The world language taught us to think how much is it possible, it's not possible. How hard is it? It is. So it's possible, it's not possible. We started forgetting the language. And one of the reasons why we forget the language is because we start sharing the same habits. What do you think Daniel would start talking if he sat in the same table with this Chaldean people?
I wouldn't think so, since he doesn't know the language as well as they do. So like they wouldn't treat him as like the same.
They're the same. What else? You think do you think he was able to sit at that table and talk about Jehovah, about the Lord?
No.
He was not. He was not. So he made a decision. He said, I don't want to lose my real language. That is the faith language. That's why you can see through the book that he was praying 3 times during the day. The morning, at noon, the night. But he knew he was. Okay, there is another thing we need to talk about: identity. So first of all, language, how we speak. Second, where we come from. And third, habits. So let's speak about good habits. I mean,
Good habits. Like what type of good habits there are? Like,
yes, kind of good habits.
Okay, good habit is to have good hygiene. Or to I'd say a good habit is to seek the word of God daily or attempt it.
That's a good habit. What else? Isabella?
A good habit, like wanting to do good. Like the word good habit has it in the name. And good habits are like like when your parents tell you to do the chores and you do them, that's a good habit.
Help, Angie, help.
A good habits. I would say a good habit would be to, I don't know why I'm always thinking of not doing things the same every day. So a good habit would be, changing your schedule here and there, making time for yourself, something like that.
Okay. I love that Daniel is talking about food. Because sometimes when we see the Bible and we see the guys in the Bible, we think they were kind of angels. They had wings and they didn't they were not hungry. When I understood what happened with Daniel and Saul, if you remember, David and Saul. Saul needed to go to the bathroom. And he went to the bathroom in the same cave where David was. And he didn't know. And he was doing the thing in front of David. And it's not so special to see that the Bible is talking about real people with real needs. And now Daniel is making decisions for the daily life. He's talking about diet. And how, because he knew he was, how that kind of choices in daily life are based on who you are. For example, I'm trying to get the good habit to work out 1 hour a day. It's hard for me because my job, I think I have no time. But I'm making time. And I think when you know who you are, you will start making that kind of choices and decisions and kind of schedules. My father used to say, the people have time for the things that they really want. I mean, if you want something, probably you will take the time for it. You will reorganize your schedule. I think, check this out. I would like that when you read verse 15. Okay, Daniel 1:15. What it says.
At the end of 10 days, their appearance was better and their bodies were healthier than all the young men who had been eating the royal delicacies.
Wow. So, because when Daniel said, we won't take that food, the guy said, no, you will die. You will be starving in 3 days. And Daniel said, test us. Test us for 10 days. So at the end of 10 days, they were stronger, healthier. Isn't that a good thing to be stronger and healthier? Yeah, it's a really good thing. Because they knew who they were. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel. Now, but check what happened in verse 19.
It says, when the king spoke to them, he did not find among the entire group anyone like Daniel, Hananiah, Meshach, and Azariah, so they entered the king's service.
Wow. Verse 20.
In every matter of wisdom and insight the king asked about them, he found them to be 10 times better than any of the magicians and astrologers that were in his entire empire.
10 times smarter. Now, question. I gotta put a question over the tape. Do you think It was a miracle.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You think it's a miracle?
They had faith. in God.
They had faith in God. That was a miracle.
Yeah.
I think it was not a miracle. I think it was not. It was not a miracle. I think it was a reaction, a consequence. It was that kind of harvest of that decision they made. Maybe for 1 second. Check this out. Probably there's one thing you don't know. That in Babylon, when they say the food of the king, is not just, to see the menu and say, can you bring me please tacos with, steak tacos and you arepas with, But when they say the food from the table of the king, they're talking about parties,
And this
the carnival, right? How long is a party with the king? Until he wants the party. It could be 6 hours, it could be 4 hours, it could be the whole night. Do you think those guys just went to the bed and the other day they were smarter than everybody else?
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they eat healthier, they train, they weren't a part of
Okay. Break it down. Break it down. I love it.
Putting in work.
They're putting in the actual work because they knew who they were. They weren't a part of this, I guess what you would say, like the king's party. They weren't part of that. So they separated themselves from that, which concluded them into finding their identity and coming out stronger from everything they had gone through.
Yeah, but I want you to put it this way. Okay, they're eating different. They're eating differently, right? They're not eating meat. They're not sharing the things they were used to eat. So they're eating kind of a special diet. Okay. So I think they were more focused, right? They have, how do you say, when they used to learn faster than anybody else?
Intelligence.
Yeah, yes, but because they were on task all the time with no distractions.
Yeah, they were training.
I like that word. They were training. They were trained. No, what do you think they were doing when the people were in the party eating the food of the king?
They were training.
They were
Practicing.
reviewing the concepts, practicing, training, and at the end of this, I don't know how long was it. It says just verse 18 says just days later, just days, they were brought to the king's presence, and the king spoke to them in an interview, and he realized those guys were 10 times smarter than anybody else in the kingdom. I think the reason why, and I would like to share one thing with you guys, the reason why they made that decision of choice is because they refused to live in Babylon as slaves. Because they were brought to Babylon from Israel as slaves. But they refused to live their lives as slaves. Do you think our generation needs to refuse to be slaves? Because we're not coming from this world, but we are in this world, right? But this world wants to make us slaves. Slaves of what? Of sin, of course. Of course,
Things that don't benefit us.
things that don't benefit us, yes, of course. But because everybody's doing it, actually I remember that Nick said that. Oh, why why are you drinking? Oh, because everybody drinks, you're drinking too? Okay. Why do you get high? Why? Because your friends get high? That's the way you do your life because everybody is getting high around? Is one day I asked myself a question. Why do not get a tattoo? A tattoo? What is a tattoo? Something bad? Is something wrong? Many people say that's bad, that's wrong. But I asked myself, and I didn't find one reason why to get a tattoo
Or you need it.
or what I need. Why do you want a tattoo? Because that guy has it? It doesn't make sense. So who's pushing us? Daniel wasn't a slave, but he refused to live as a slave. And he had, the authority to say to this guy, we won't eat that food. We won't share that schedule. The problem with us was, and don't be surprised and don't be bad, everybody thought it was a miracle. I remember when I grew up in church, the people tried to pray for me to be the best. But I went to the school and I did my job. I worked hard in a university. I worked very hard to get my bachelor, to get my job, to do everything I'm doing. It was not a miracle. The miracle is that this word empowers you for making good choices. Because one of the things is that the people doesn't see beyond the day. The people want to live this day, and that's it. But Daniel said, no. I refuse to live my life as a slave. I refuse. Now, if you refuse to live as a slave, or you make this kind of decision, what it means for you? What do you think it represents? What that kind of decision demands from you?
I think it would demand motivation.
Motivation. What else?
Or determination.
Determination. Motivation. Determination.
Having the courage to do it.
Yeah. What else?
Being able to make your own choices.
That's a hard part. Be able to make your own choices. So you know who you are. You won't let anybody push you to do what you want to do. What you don't really believe you're supposed to be doing. But when we don't have identity, so we do the same things that every people around is doing. It's what I think. I went to the public school in my country. Public schools in my country are not easy. Any school is easy. But especially, I went to the public school. It was hard. My classmates, they were disgusting many times. And many times I made the decision to be alone, to stay alone. Because I didn't want to share their table. You know what was on the table? Pornography, alcohol, drugs. They were sharing about what they did during the weekend. It was not good stuff. And they were laughing about it. And for me, for Daniel, I refused to share. Even when it meant that I was alone. Alone. But then, when we had the test in math, I was not alone. I had all of them. David, please help me with the number 12. David, do you understand the number 11? David, do you understand the number 8? Why? It's logic. I know I was not smarter because it was a miracle. I was not smarter just because I was attending church every Sunday. I was smarter because God gave me in His Word the power to make good choices on my own. And do not let the people push me to behave or make decisions the same way they were doing. So, two things tonight to think. What about our language? How we speak? Do we speak the language of faith, or we already forgot the language? Because faith is the language of God. It's God's language. And God uses to call the things that are not, doesn't exist, to come to exist. God speaks in a different way. God speaks good. And I want you guys to be this generation that can speak good. That can say good stuff, good things. But the language of faith is written here in the Bible. I haven't gone to the college. I didn't have an English class. I think whatever I know, I learned it from books, reading the internet, listening. And I think if we want to learn the language of God, we need to do the same. You need a good song in your phone. You need good music in your phone. You need something that speaks like as God, in the same way that God speaks. How else can we get this new language? It's not new. It's the original one. The first one. In this world, we're learning a different language. But let's help the people that's watching to learn God's language. What?
Regain the language.
Regain, yes. Because remember, I put the example of the kids. The kids, nothing is impossible for the kids. Nothing. Let me tell you something. When I was like 8 years old, I remember that I tried many times. I look around and I tried to fly like Superman. At one point I thought, maybe I can fly like Superman. But now when I think it's silly, that changed my heart when I was like a child. I thought everything was possible. And one day, maybe, we don't know when, you grow up and you start putting obstacles. That's not possible. That's impossible. No way. That's the favorite word. No way. No way. Let me tell you one more thing. When I came to the United States, at the beginning, with no language, with no documents, I did a lot of different jobs. But I remember one of the jobs was cleaning in a store the whole night. So I was, sweeping, mopping, washing with the machine. And I remember the stalkers laughing at me. Oh, the Colombian. And they were laughing and mocking at me. So, oh, you Colombian. You came here with the American dream, big house, big car, but you will be here for the rest of your life. They thought I was supposed to be in that store doing that job for the rest of my life. But I knew who I am. And I always thought, no, I know how to teach music. I can do it. So I kept working. But one day, I forgot who I am. You know when? When I got my documents. When I got my documents, I started looking for a different job. but I thought I won't be a music teacher anymore. It's incredible. It's unbelievable how you can lose your language, the language of faith. And I was looking for different jobs. I found 4 different jobs. Those jobs were not about music. And I went to the interviews. But thank God that he's so good. He didn't let me get one of those jobs. Just to teach me that you are who you are. And you can't keep your faith language. Then he opened the door, and finally I am who I am, music teacher. But many people loses the perspective of their lives. You know how many people God has a talent and they never explode their talent? Yo, sorry everybody, the dog is here. So come Benji. So how can we as you said, how can we regain the language of the faith? How can we protect it? It's a question. Give me ideas, guys.
The way you said, I think one important one is music. Music has always worked for me to like. It's always been like something I've always leaned on, and the amazing song that I've always loved is "Another in the Fire," the title song. And I love that in one of the verses it says, "Now the power lives in me," and it's amazing because God gave us that power to be different, to make the change, to have our identities, to tell people. And I think music is a very important way to like allow people to connect with God. I think.
Excellent. So one of the ways to keep your faith language is put good music in your phone. Play good music at home. Play good music in the car. Something that really feeds your spirit.
I think also taking time out of your day to really reflect on what God has planned for you. Something that I do take into account is, God has a lot of promises that He makes to us. When we follow His steps and follow His guidance. So I think something that really closes when I look onto Him and I don't let myself come down is when I remember the promises that He has for me. So that's something that really, like, reading His Word is basically what I'm trying to say.
What you're saying is what Daniel did every day. The Bible says he opened the windows towards Jerusalem, and he was praying just one thing: God, take us back. Your promise. You're a God that stayed in your promise. I love that part. So, but you said another thing. You said take time. Our problem is that we don't take time. We are in the party of Babylon in the Facebook. We are the party of Babylon in the TV show. We have time. The problem is that we are wasting and not spending that time. But yes, this is what God promised. I'm not there, but God promised. My faith is in God, not on the promise. It's in God. It's in the God of the promise. And he said He will do it. I love it. Good music. Take time to reflect and remember the God's promises. I love it. What else?
What I do is I have this one verse that I really like, and it has to do with like being patient, but also that God is guiding you and He won't fail you at any moment. So what I think is, I just need to be patient and hope, and I know with my faith that eventually it will come.
You know what? That's amazing. Sometimes we are like the kids. Again, I want my skateboard. Yes. No, now. No, it has a time. Wait for Christmas. Christmas is now? No, it's in 6 months. How long is 6 months? We look like that. But you said, when you take the word of God and you learn to be patient, it'll come. The promise will come. The promise will come. I love it. I love it. That's one way to protect the faith marriage. Our challenge now is to create a special diet for daily life. Daniel was doing vegetables and fruits, but you know, we are in the middle of the alcohol, drugs, sex, and pornography, easy money, you know, pride. We are in the middle of many things. How can we stay away from the table of the king of this world? That's the question that we will be answering next time. Okay? But I would like everybody that was here listening, pick these 3 pieces of advice. Good music in your phone. Take time to review, to remember, to think, to reflect on the promises of God. And take one verse, read it, and pray, Lord, I want to be patient. I will wait for your promises. Amen? Hey guys, I love having you here. I hope you like it. You know, it was a good time or now it's not a good time? I learned a lot. I learned a lot today. So Isabel, may you please pray?
Oh, Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for really important things to continue. Lord, I ask, Lord, that it stays in our hearts and continues to be us, Lord. Help us to be nice wherever we are, Lord. Allow us to remain in you, Lord, and be with you, Lord, and allow us to know that we are made from you, Lord. We're not part of this world. I thank you for everything you've done with me and Angelica and Janine and Pastor David, Lord. I thank you, Lord, because you're amazing, Lord. You created everything, and you're spectacular. I thank you, Lord. Tonight, Lord, we end this night. I hope that everyone who was able to watch this was able to understand and take it into their hearts and keep it, Lord. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. I love it. Isabel said, we come from you, Lord. Yeah. Oh, that was good. Guys, say bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye to Facebook. Bye-bye YouTube. God bless you. God bless you all. See you next week. It says end.